So the purpose of doing the pull-up is because it's one of the best exercises to improve your upper body strength, specifically in your upper back, your arms, as well as your shoulders. So as you can see, my pull-up bar has a lot of grips to it. So before we talk about the actual movement on how to perform the pull-up, let's talk about the different terminology. And of course, this video will apply to whatever exercise variation of the pull-up that I make you do. So when it says pull-up on your program, that basically means a regular overhand grip like this. This is once again the pull-up. If your program says chin up, that means you're gonna go for a slightly narrower grip and your hand will be on the underhand grip. This is once again the chin up. If your program says narrow neutral grip, so I know there are a lot of names. If your program says narrow neutral grip, this is how your pull-up will look like. And if it says wide neutral, this is how it's going to look like. Okay, but if it says angled or a 45-degree angle pull-up or chin-up, this is how it's going to look like. Okay, basically, with whatever grip that you choose, the tutorial on how to actually perform it remains the same. So now that we're done with the different names of the pull-up, with regards to execution, it's a lot simpler. It's not necessarily easy, but it's simpler. So if, for example, if I tell you to do the regular pull-up, all you'd have to do is jump on your bar, make sure that your feet are off the ground as much as possible, and then the only thought process I'd want you to have is to pull straight up. You don't have to think of anything very nitpicky or very specific. Instead, just think about pulling yourself straight up. Imagine that you're going up in a straight line and then you're going down in a straight line. So even though it is as simple as going straight up and straight down, there are still a number of mistakes when it comes to doing the pull-ups, naturally because it is a difficult movement to begin with. The first mistake is that people don't go all the way up like this. I would see in some videos that people will only go halfway up. Of course, that's not ideal. When it comes to doing the pull-up, you try to go as high as possible, specifically try to make your chin match the height of the bar, and that's when we can call it a full rep. The next mistake is that people, they might go all the way up, but they don't go all the way down. Basically, they're just doing the top half of the movement. So when it comes to doing the pull-up, or let's just say the chin-up for this example, we'd want you to go all the way up and then all the way down. We call this position the dead hang. This is where your body is really just hanging around on the bar and your feet are still off the ground. And then after you hold this position for just 1 second, you can then proceed to the next rep. The third mistake that I see a lot of people do when it comes to doing the pull-up or the chin-up, I'll use this variation now, is that they're using their lower body to help them, to assist them to lift themselves up. So of course, to make it as honest as possible, don't use your legs to assist you going up. Instead, just pull as honest as you can. And of course, that's just the basics of this movement. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to message me.